Hello, welcome back to Foos Entertainment for my review of 2025's Final Destination Bloodlines on regular Blu-ray. I did that for a reason. I don't own any of the other films in 4K, so it made absolute no sense to get this one in 4K. We're talking about the plot of the film, the real's opinion of the film, my opinion of the film, and take a moment to appreciate the late Tony Todd. All right, tap line. Death runs in the family. Plagued by a violent reoccurring nightmare, college student Safi heads home to track down the one person who might be able to save her family from the grisly demise and despair that eventually awaits them all and break the cycle. Okay. The real's opinion of Final Destination Bloodlines. This has been looked at as one of the best Final Destination films since the first movie. I would say I do agree, because I would definitely probably be putting this high up there in the top 3 or 4 for sure, probably in the top 3. They said it is, and they also, society at large believes that Final Destination Bloodlines is the most original story-wise since the first film. Now, my opinion. This is a rare occasion, but it does happen. I do agree 100% with society's opinion. In fact, I will be given a ranking of the film franchise during this review. It won't take long to go ahead and make a tribute to Tony Todd. It won't. I'm just going to say a couple of words. I really liked this movie. It actually was a very different Final Destination film for me. It wasn't like all the other ones. And it actually did answer a few questions we have always had. Like, for example, going into Tony Todd's character. Where does that character come from? And as it turns out, it ties into the first time that she had death in this movie, which is long before all the other films actually happened. And this actually is a sequel to every single Final Destination movie. So this doesn't take place in a weird continuity. And I'll talk about that too, because this is a final movie in the Final Destination franchise. And it looks like it's probably going to end up being the final one. We'll see, but I'll be honest with you. I actually hope that it is. This is a good way to end it all. First, let's talk about Tony Todd. Tony Todd will forever and always be known as the Candyman. And out of all the horror icons, Freddy, Michael, all of them, what I thought was the most symbolic horror icon of all of them was the Candyman. And so the Candyman will definitely be missed. He was also very, very much into the Final Destination franchise. And he put his heart and soul into these movies, because it was very sad watching this movie, seeing him the way that he is. He had lost all his weight. It was like looking at a dying man. He just, wanted to do one last hurrah before he died. And that's basically what he did. And they're really into the story, I might add. Now let's go ahead and do a continuity about how these films actually take place. So people that have a hard time with that can go ahead and know in which order they do take place. Took me a while to find this stuff, but this is Chucky's Punch. I had a couple cases of this, but now it's hard to find. This is all I could find. Trying to live up, the way I did last year, drinking Halloween-themed sodas while I'm reviewing movies. Okay. This is the correct order to watch the Final Destination movies, so pay attention. Final Destination 5. Well, technically, the first part of Final Destination Bloodlines, followed by Final Destination 5, followed by Final Destination, followed by Final Destination 3, followed by The Final Destination, followed by Final Destination 2, and followed by the vast majority of the film Final Destination Bloodlines. That is actually the correct way to watch the movies. I'll make that make sense to you. Final Destination 3 in The Final Destination, which is also known as Final Destination 4, take place after the Final Destination, but before Final Destination 2. I know it's hard to figure it out that way, but that is the correct order to watch the films. So I hope that solved you guys' mystery on which order to watch the films. Now let's go ahead and rank them from worst to best. The worst one is easily The Final Destination. That's easily the worst one. The only thing that movie has going for it is the 3D. The 3D was pretty damn good in that movie. It's one of my favorite 3D films of all time. But when it comes to it being a movie, it is the worst of the Final Destination franchise. Easily. Coming up right above it, I would probably have to put, unfortunately, I would probably have to put Final Destination 5 right above it. And that would be followed by, and you're going to hate me for this is going to piss a lot of fans off, coming in at spot number, let's see, so 6. Coming in at spot number 4 will have to be for me Final Destination 2. And I know it's going to piss a lot of people off. I mean, what's wrong with you, Foos? You're putting the second movie not even at the middle. You're putting it below the middle. Because I won't go into why. Maybe if I make a tier list in the future, I will, but I'm just making a quick ranking here. Coming in above Final Destination 2 at the 3rd spot will be Final Destination 3. Coming above that, this is a surprise, at the number 2 spot is Final Destination Bloodlines. And coming in at number 1 spot, is the very best of the franchise, to me is still the very first movie, Final Destination. And this is my channel, I don't know how to explain that. Maybe one day I'll do a tier list and then I'll go through why. But that's my ranking. All right, Final Destination Bloodlines from 2025. Have you seen the movie? Have you not? If you liked the movie or didn't like the movie, shoot a comment below. Like this video, share it with friends, subscribe if you would like. Foos says check this movie out, and I will see you on the next one.